as we talked about what's happening in the world of sports. Eric's in Pittsburgh. He's a big golf fan. I did see the Arnie Palmer thing last night. Basically, every episode, that 3-part, Eric. So there you go. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Chris, I'm really glad you watched that. Real quick, before I get to that, she both played Francis Lamette in the greatest game ever played. I know you watched that.
Oh, he did. That's him. Oh, I know. Yes, he was good in that movie. He played the golfer. He was good in that movie.
That is one of my favorite sports movies of all time. And if you don't tear up at the end of that, you got something wrong with you.
And Stephen Devine, who was in Darkest Hour,
Harry Vardon.
Played Harry Vardon. Yeah, interesting.
Right.
Okay.
And Ted Ray, too. The guy that played Ted Ray I thought was awesome.
Yeah, big, heavy set guy. I don't know who it was. But
yeah. I thought that was great. Listen, I love that you watched this because, one, you mentioned the major losses. I still think the 62 Open at Oakmont that he let slip away to Jack was the one that really bothered him his whole life at Oakmont.
I thought 66 at the Olympic when he blew the 6 or 7-stroke lead with 9 holes to go against Billy Casper. I think that bothered him more than anything else.
Well, I think the only reason I would say 62 because it was at Oakmont. You know what I mean? But I agree with what you're saying. I could see both of those. And then, the sentiment that you got watching this was the time he took for all of his fans and all the people. They told the story about the reporters running to the hole, and he delayed the tee off to let them get there. And I called you almost 2 years ago when I was at the memorial service here in Latrobe, PA, where I live, his hometown. I was at St. Vincent University where they had the memorial. I met him twice, Doggy. I told you the story where we worked a tournament at Laurel Valley that's right outside of Latrobe. Took my father around to the front of the hotel and got to meet Arnold face to face. He took us into the bar where the players and wives were, bought us drinks, thanked me for working the tournament. And then I ran into him about 5 years later at Latrobe Country Club and told him the story, and he looked me straight in the eyes, and he totally remembered exactly.
Wow, how about that? And how about the Bobby Clampert story one year at Pebble Beach? 12-year-old kid forgot his ride home. Asked Palmer as a 12-year-old, didn't know Palmer, vice versa from Adam, and said, "Arnold, can I hitch a ride home?" And Palmer said, "Sure, kid, hop in." How about that?
Yeah. That or the other story where the woman ran 3.5 blocks, got to the hotel lobby to save a parking spot, asked Arnold to stay put till her kid could get into the hotel lobby to meet him, and he stood there for another 25 minutes to, get a picture with the kid. But that's the big takeaway from that, Dog. I just wanted to tell you, with my 2 life experiences with Arnold, he's absolutely everything.
Well, he is. I mean, if you think about legacy with athletes historically, he is top 3 or 4 in the history of American sport.
Absolutely.
You'd have to put Jordan there too, obviously. Jordan, Palmer. Peyton Manning might go down in this way down the road because of the fact he does so many commercials. And Brady doesn't, so that will help Manning. That would be 3. I would, maybe Gretzky, but he doesn't do a lot of ads.
Mario Lemieux did a lot too. I mean, he's going to be in there for saving the Penguins. He does a lot of commercials.
Yeah, but but he's not a national. He's not a national figure though. He's not a national.
Exactly.
Figure.
Hey, Chris, I wanted to tell you too. At Bay Hill this weekend, they're bringing the old orange tractor back from Latrobe, PA, down to Bay Hill that he used to use in the Pennzoil commercials. They're going to have that on one of the holes, the old Toro tractor that he used to use in the old Pennzoil commercials. So that should be pretty awesome to see.
I look forward to that, and obviously Tiger loves him, so he'll be the favorite, and away we go. Here's Jason in Philly. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Jay, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
I'm doing very well. Chris, how are you?
All right, Jason, thank you. Let me hear what's on your mind. Fire away today for me.
2 things about the NFL. First, on Cousins, I couldn't agree more. I must have fell asleep when he became Joe Montana. I have no idea what the Vikings
I don't get it. To me, the Vikings made a horrendous decision to pay this guy $90 million guaranteed, and I understand they're going right for quarterbacks, who's not even on their team. See, the Lions did it with Stafford, but he's a Lion. This guy's he's a Lion. And I know Garoppolo got him tons of money. I get that too, but the Niners have been desperate. I mean, Minnesota got to an NFC Championship game last year. To me, it's an horrendous hire. It really is. Go ahead.
Next, I agree. Next about my Giants here, I think they have to take Barkley if he's available. That sets up the skill positions with Beckham at receiver, Ingram at end, and Barkley. I like the signing they got today with Soldier from the Patriots. I think it also adds some play action, which they haven't had in years. But Dog, if they don't get Barkley, assume the Browns take him. Who knows after what the Browns did today? Which one of these three quarterbacks do you take?
Yeah, you're making an excellent point. If the Browns, for whatever the reason, I thought they'd take Barkley. I've been saying that all week. Carlos Hyde today makes you think something different. If they take a quarterback with that first pick, whoever that might be, the Giants, I think the Giants will have a hard time. They need a running back. They haven't signed one. They did sign Jonathan Stewart, big deal. It would not shock me if the Giants took Barkley. I agree with you. Now, if Barkley isn't available, I have no idea who the Giants would take. I don't think it would be Rosen or Mayfield. I do think that. I don't think it would be those two. I think it would be the leftover of Darnold and Josh Allen, to be honest with you.
Right, and Allen scares me a little bit. He almost seems like Jay Cutler, can throw the ball a mile, but I think his completion percentage is about 55%.
56, but you're right. That would you usually don't get better. If you're inaccurate in college, you're usually inaccurate in the NFL. Now, Wentz, he broke his hand whenever his senior year. I do not know what the completion percentage of Wentz was I do not know what it was his senior year at North Dakota State. But, Allen fits the part. We'll see. Fascinating. 10 in front of the hour. Mad Dog Unleashed.